Who threatens my concentration?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Esports Money, ZSM, Mac10, whatever you want to call me, and welcome to my guide to jungling Invoker in patch 7.06c. I believe this is my first Invoker jungling guide. In fact, I believe this is the first video I have ever made where I am playing Invoker that is on the internet to this day. I do not play a lot of Invoker. I actually I had to do a lot of Google foo, a lot of reading. This guide has taken me way more hours than I should admit. Anyway, I make one mistake this time through, and I'll tell it to you at the start. It's very easy to fix. I don't get all the bounty runes. I only get 1 or 2 bounty runes. If I had gotten all of the bounty runes, then by 8 minutes at the absolute max, I will have my Hand of Midas. If you don't get all the bounty runes, then I think this one, I cut the video footage a little bit short for the sake of time, because there's nothing really meaningful going on after a certain point. But in this video, I think I'm pushing 9 minutes because I missed all except for the initial rune and one other. So we're going to be going with this build, Quas Exhort, and it's up to you which one you want to focus on putting points into. I personally strongly prefer to put additional points into Quas over Exhort because I really want my Forge Spirit to have additional range, and I really want my Forge Spirit to have an additional duration. Since we're a jungler, we have a limited amount of resources, and if we're increasing the duration of the Forge Spirit, we're reducing the number of times we have to summon it. We're getting an overall greater amount of damage out of that Forge Spirit, and we're conserving mana because we're not resummoning as often. So I prefer to prioritize Quas over Exhort, prioritizing Exhort second. However, it's really up to you, but it will probably be a bit slow if you don't. The next thing that you're wondering, probably, is why I am getting a Blightstone on Invoker, because it's kind of an odd item. Now, I've kind of looked at a Blightstone for a long time as a way for a ranged hero to get better CS in lane, and for heroes that have minions to do extra damage, and the latter is exactly what we're doing with it here. We're getting the Blightstone because we have a Forge Spirit who's going to be helping us with our DPS as much as our little baby Forge Spirit can, and if we have the minus armor aura on the creep, then the Forge Spirit does additional damage. Notice here that I have to actually micro the Forge Spirit, especially at the lower levels, because the Forge Spirit has such short range. However, after a few additional points in Quas, you will have a longer range Forge Spirit, which means that you won't have to do as much microing, in addition to the Forge Spirit lasting longer. So again, that's why I really strongly recommend putting points into Quas. However, if you're playing Invoker in the jungle, you're probably pretty greedy, so you're probably going to want to put a lot of points into Exhort. So again, really up to you. It's a pretty straightforward build. I have experimented with starting out with an Iron Branch, and I think it's called a Fairy Fire? The thing that gives you +2 damage that you can eat and get health from. That's like 75 gold. I can't remember the name of it. So I've experimented with getting that at the start alongside an Iron Branch, just to see if that +3 damage, that little bit of agility, a little bit of int actually meant anything. And that's my go-to if I'm not going to buy the Blightstone. It's basically the only alternative, other than just saving additional money for the Midas, and it doesn't really seem to increase the speed of the build. You actually get your Midas at about the same time with this. You get it a little bit quicker with this, and you also get to keep the Blightstone, so even if you don't want the Blightstone because you have an orb effect coming later in your build, because you want to be a right clicker for some reason, then you can sell it. It's still better than just having an Iron Branch and the other item. Another thing you can do, if you really want to, is just rush those oven mitts out and then use that and get your Midas. I think you get your Midas a little bit earlier. I think it was like 10-15 seconds earlier, because again, that extra damage from the minus armor aura does help, and you can only get so many bounty runes and kill so many creeps because that item is not going to change the speed at which you kill creeps too drastically. So largely it's up to you. I prefer to get the Blightstone first, but again, if you don't want to, then you can keep it simple and go for the Hand of Midas. Do take in mind, though, that the sooner you kill those initial creeps is a big deal, because you need to get level 2 to get a Forge Spirit, because you need to have Quas and Exhort. So, yeah. Invoker is one of those jungling heroes that really depends on level 2. I've actually been experimenting with Earthshaker a bit lately, and he also really wants to be level 2. So thank you guys so much for watching. How far are we in? We're a little bit past, but it should be fine. Again, there's not a lot going on beyond this point. I'm just going to continue to jungle until I have that Hand of Midas, and if I get all of my bounty runes, we will be looking at 730 to 750, somewhere in that range, as long as you don't miss any hard stacks. So anyway, thanks for watching, and have a lovely day. Peace out, guys. Let me know what you think. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Esports Money's ESM Mac10, whatever you want to call me, and thank you for watching that video. If you liked that content, don't forget to hit the like button. If you want to see more content from me, hit the subscribe button. There's actually a little bell icon next to the subscribe button, and if you hit that button, then whenever you have YouTube open and I go online or post a video or really do anything, you'll get a little update from me. If you want to support the channel further, there are Amazon affiliate links in the video description below for pretty much every single piece of hardware in my computer. Additionally, there's also an Amazon referral link for Amazon Prime, so whenever you use that to get an Amazon Prime membership, you support the channel at no additional cost to you. So thank you very much, guys, and have a wonderful day.